I'd like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
What's going on, Cowboy Nation? What's going on, Cowboy Nation, man? Good to be with you on this glorious Thursday, man. Couple of days into getting ready for week 3. Time to start talking about what we talk about football. Time to start talking about some things that we need to see. But I just came on to come on a little with y'all for not too long, because I'm gonna try to get ready for these games. Anybody who comes into the chat, if y'all like for me to y'all like when I have these watch parties with the Thursday night games or the Monday night games, if y'all like that, please put that in the chat. As you come in, if you like for me to have those games and to learn what we call a little one-on-one learning. I was thinking about with my channel that I was going to do watch parties for the games of the NFC teams that we're probably, if it's a team that we're going to face during the year, especially if it's a team from the NFC East, because we're going to face them a couple of times. And if we playing somebody, I think we played this year, we played the NFC North this year. So we play everybody in the NFC North. So we'll play Detroit, we'll play Green Bay, we'll play Minnesota, and we'll play Chicago. And then we play everybody in the AFC West. So if it's an AFC West team, I will try to make sure I do a live stream, because we play the teams in the West. We play the we're gonna play the Chargers, we're gonna play Denver, we're gonna play the Raiders, and we're gonna play Kansas City. So I'm gonna do live streams to that effect for those games that we do for those other teams. So when those teams play, when any team that we're going to play, they're playing on Thursday night, I'm going to do a watch party. Or if we're playing on Sunday and we're playing on a Monday night, if they're playing on a different night where there's no football, or they're on a Monday night, we're going to do a watch party, because what we're going to do is we're going to look at the teams together. We're going to look at our opponents together. And it's always going to be come watch parties, come see what I see. And we're going to see it, and we're going to be able to get a better outlook. I wish I would have got a chance to look at the Chicago Bears a little bit more, because, I'm hearing a lot about the Chicago Bears. But I can understand where the Chicago Bears is coming from. We got a new coach. His first time coaching, first time being a head coach. He comes from Detroit, so he came from a winning situation. So he's trying to build a different culture in Chicago based off of what he had in Detroit. So what he's been used to in Detroit. So it's going to take some time. It's going to take some time of putting those things in. Sometimes it start off fast. Sometimes it start off rough. They're trying to find their way, their sea legs of how they go about things. Same thing we're trying to do. That's why when I say about week 3, we're going to talk about where we are in our bill. We in week 3. We're going to touch upon what's real, what is real. We're going to touch upon some of the things that we probably need to do. Some of our content creators is out there pushing a very big narrative about getting a running back and we have people have a lot of pushback, and I agree with them, but I understand that Williams is doing it right now. We got to continue to work what we got, but I agree. I agree with them, and I understand where they're coming from, and I think we just looking at it as not full sighted. And I just want to give you touch on what I need to give. I'm going to touch on again about what we need to do. Where's our identity? What we need to try to form our identity. I also want to touch upon, and I hate to touch upon this again, but I'm going to touch on the safety position, because I just don't want to see like I was just trying to bury Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson. But I'm also challenging Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson. And they can make me wrong, but they're not going to make me feel like I'm wrong over one game. They can prove that I'm wrong if they have career years, a career year this year. So that's going to take a while and consistent. So, and that goes into my first thing. We're talking about what's real and not real. Winning games. That's right. With no talk. Well, you're gonna have some injuries. Everybody's having injuries, but hopefully you don't have any injuries. But it's about winning right now. Nobody cares about what happens. So we talk about what's real, and that leads into what I'm talking about. What's real? Let's talk about what's real. My show is Coach Marv Real Talk. So I pride my show on talking about things that give you a perspective of stuff that maybe coaches, teams, players, and when they talk about what I consider behind the wall, not in the public eye, not in the press conference, not the things that ESPN or Fox News or some of these other football things. They don't talk about these things because these things are the things I'm talking about are real and they're very important, but they're not sexy and they're not news making. So there's some things that's real and not real, and I saw some things. I think a lot of our fans, and the NFL came up with one thing, and let's talk about two things that the NFL came up with. One thing the NFL came up with that was built to get fans involved, to make fans feel like they were more important, or they can really judge who's playing and who's not playing. And I'm not saying that the Pro Football Focus stats don't have no validity. I'm not saying that they don't have no validity, but I am saying this. Has anybody seen or got? I've heard some of the things of how Pro Football Focus, how they go about getting their stats. It's sometimes you think it's easy for you to look up on Google and say, "Hey, put in how do Football Focus do these stats?" But they make you dig for that information. And I'm gonna tell you why they make you dig for that information, with how they come up with their stats, or how they come up with that. Because if they gave you straight up and told you how they do their stats, Pro Football Focus, it'll be a lot of questions about, is this really worthy? See, when we talk about this game in Chicago, a lot of fans are going to look at, say, okay, man, they PFF stats for their offensive line, their PFF stats for this player and this, that, and they're going to take those things and say, oh, they good at this position, they good at that position, or they beating us at that position, or they're going to look at people going to look at the PFF stats, Pro Football stats, and say, well, players not having good. But my understanding is that they do this where they have people that are judging each player and their grades. Are those players, are those people who judging these grades, are they football people? Probably not. Do they have a criteria where they're grading it from? Probably so. And it's basically a check and a minus. And then they throw those checks and minus into a formula thing, and it comes up with a grade. Now it may be AI generated. But who can give you a correct grade? Who's the only person that can really give you a correct grade? Do coaches, do you think the Dallas Cowboy coaches look at PFF stats of their players? Do you think the coaches care when somebody comes out and says, oh man, look at your PFF stats of Tyler Booker, he's at a 50%. PFF say he's not playing well. Do the coaches take that in account? I would kind of say the coaches of this team probably don't, because no PFF person sitting in a booth going over a film and grading, even us, even me watching the film, even some of our best content creators. And I'm not saying talk about it, but I'm just saying there's only one person that can give a true grade to a player, and that's his coach and his coaches. Why? One, they know what play was called. Two, they know everybody's responsibility in that play. Three, they know everything that was told to them when they prepared that play about the stuff that they're supposed to do that may be involved with that play, or why they're doing that play. Four, they know what technique that they have coached to get what they want them to do. Five, they know the player, about what the player does well, what the player, how the player do things, and what the player may do some things or whatever. They know all five of those things. They know what play was called. They know why the play was called. They know what the background of why we call the play. They know what might be different in this play, because it might not be normal because we're running in a special situation, because this is a team that we may do something different. They know what technique they drilled this person to do, and they know the player that's trying to carry out the assignment. So when they grade it, they are the best graders of a film or a play. Now, we can look at the film and grade on what we think is technique sound for doing certain things. We can kind of diagnose what the play is because we watch the play and we say, okay, that looked like a fullback dive. But we still don't know if it was audible. We don't know if the play was changed. We don't know if the blocking assignment may have changed because of a different call that they made. We don't know the ins and outs because we're not there and we're not in that position. Now, we can give a very big scientific, come up with, deduct and say, okay, we can be very close because we're watching film. But people that's grading that, they're not watching the film in that manner. They're just saying plus and minus. And some of those people are not football people. So I'm not saying PFF stats are not valid, but how much can we give that? Now, the same other thing is, what's going on, brother? This other thing is, why was PFF stats made? Well, they were made for two reasons. One, to improve fantasy football, which I've told you before, fantasy football has increased the popularity of NFL by leaps and bounds. It has increased gambling because they have broken off. Anytime that gambling breaks off into another segment that's you know that segment of football is extremely large. Gambling has now gotten into fantasy football because that means it was great big. So they use those things so it can help that PFF stats. Also, it's for PFF stats gives people a somewhat of a knowledge to say, I can see and say what the grade is, and I can kind of see if a guy's doing well or not. Does PFF stats help teams that are recruiting other players or going out in free agency? They may look at that a little briefly, but if they're smart, they will look at film, which film is not going to give them a total thing because, like I said, the only person can give you the best grade is the coaches. If it was an offensive play, the offensive coaches, at least the offensive coordinator, and the position coach can give you the best grade of that player on every play. Now, you can watch film and you can try to come up with a grade, but the best grade is the person that made the call, why they made the call, how it was coached, what technique it was supposed to be used, what the philosophy was, and knowing the tendency of your player. So we can be very close as football people when we're watching it, but how close is a person who's non-football related and they're just trying to get through a whole series of plays at a fast rate? So I'm not saying PFF stats is bad, but then again, let's look at something else with PFF stats. Do you think that they grade people on a curve based off their capabilities or their name? For sure. They can say, oh no, these stats are based off, strictly so and so. But nah, man. It gotta be off a name. Because you don't think that a Zach Martin would get the benefit of the doubt on a play and Terrence Steele may not? Yeah. Because that person who's grading that knows that Tyler Smith is a all-pro. He got the big money. That person knows that this Tyler Booker is a rookie. So a lot of people give a lot of credit to PFF stats. And guys like Boston, a lot of people say, hey, let's take it to the film and not use that because you can look at film. But again, when we take it to the film, and my content creators take it to the film, we are still not perfectly on the grade. Because, again, we don't know what was called. We can probably decipher. We don't know why it was called. We probably can decipher. We don't know what was the reason it was called, what kind of twerks they may have made based off, because every play you call, there is some kind of a fabrication you do to play because you're fabricating because you are looking at their film and saying, hey, we can attack this way, not like the normal way, but we may change a little something because of how the person we're going against. We know what technique we would call it. We know how certain players carry out certain techniques, and we may change it for a certain player because we say he does this better, do it this way. So we're the best graders. So if you want to get the grade from the coaching staff. Because that grade is the best grade you're going to get. So sometimes we be all on top of coaches, and ripping a piece in that, and I do it too. Because I done fell into this thing of being a content creator and talk about certain things. Yeah. Being on this side of the thing, which I consider the media side, even as new media, you get caught up in the criticism and whatever. But sometimes I have to rein it in because I understand how it is standing on that sideline. Let me give you a case in point when, where fans, and I hate to say this, where fans can cause a commotion and they may be wrong. Well, we was in a game and we was playing a team that we were running traps. We felt in the film that we could run traps and trap this defensive tackle because he would run up the field. We knew he was quick, but we could trap him because he would run up the field. And then we knew we could do what we call influence blocks on him. We could just, sometimes you can do an influence block and not even block the guy because he's going to run his way out to play. And then we got an extra man on another guy that can block him because he eliminate himself. Well, we had this what we call super fan in the stands that always got something to say about the coaches. If a play don't work, it's always the coaches. It's never the players didn't execute the play. It's never that he never got on the players and say, hey, man, y'all got to play better. It's always the coaches. Do that sound familiar with some of our people? It's always the coaches. It's always the coaches. It's always somebody else. But it's never, man, you got to play better. Or now we go to what we call cancel culture, this cancel culture, where we don't even give you a second chance. If you don't play well, get you off the boat, go get somebody else. So when we were running the play from the stands, it looked like this guy ran up the field. He didn't make the tackle. Now, one of the plays he did make the tackle, and we did it again. But a couple of times he ran up, but he ran in the back of in the field, and he hit the quarterback, but the ball was gone. This guy in the stands kept yelling like, what y'all coaching out there? How y'all gonna just let that guy, what is number, so the guy in front of him was number 62. He said, what number 62 doing? Get him out the game. Put somebody else in the game. All these coaches don't know what they're doing. And he was so loud that other people started watching the play, but when we ran again, they're like, oh yeah, we see that guy running free. But it was working. We weren't getting touchdown. Because the guy was undisciplined. But then he made a play and they just went off. And that one guy everybody started talking about, oh, we ain't blocking the guy. The guy must be scared. The coach is scared and all that. But they didn't understand. And then when the 62 came on the sideline, they got the people yelling out there talking about, man, you sorry. You just letting that guy run back by you. And they was all on the kid. And they had the kid upset. He was like, coach, well, they blaming me. But they blaming him because that was the design of the play. And we was giving him 100% on what he was doing in the game. But this guy started a ride and had people. Matter of fact, we won the game it was a close game. And it had this is a bad thing. My athletic director comes to me and say, Coach, 62 was just letting that guy just run by. And the people were so upset about that. And I'm like, it's an influence block. We were trapping him too. Why you listen to the people in the stands and I'm calling, you don't think that I know enough football to let a guy just run on the field for no reason? But guess what? We had people in the stands thinking they know football, seeing something, and already blaming the coaches and saying the coaches were horrible. And then they start on the kid. So take PFF stats with a grain of salt. Watch the games. Don't look at, and another thing that's real and not real. If a guy gets beat, Terrence Steele, if a guy gets beat, Guyton, they get beat, remember this, people. All offensive linemen, everybody on that field is going to lose some battles because the other guys get paid too. But it's always about the sum of the parts. It's about the collection of being collectively on a consistent basis, a consistent good basis is going to get you across the finish line first. Guy told me one time he loved NASCAR. And he was a big NASCAR fan. And he said, he called me by last name, Price. He said, Price, let me tell you something, man. When you win when a racing team win a NASCAR race, all of them got the same type of engine. Ain't no engine really different. And when they make measures now in NASCAR with all the cars got certain government or certain specs that all the cars must have, and you can't. So that limits the speed to all of them. So everybody basically got the same type of setup. But he said there's a little bit on the setup, but basically everybody got the same equipment. But he said, no, it makes the teams that win the most and win consistent is that everybody, from the pit crew to the owners to the people that's cleaning it up, are more consistent and more focused on what they're doing as a collective group every week that makes them always stay at the top. It's the sum of the parts. And until our football team think it's the sum of the parts, and that's where I get, run into sometimes, a little frustrated because our people think that we just go get a player, it's just going to change everything. This is some of the parts. We're going to have to get great play from guys that, and I'm not saying that we got to get Hall of Fame play, but we got to get career play and consistent play from the guys that sometimes we don't consider being consistent. So that was my story about PFF, because I see a lot of people posting a lot of PFF stats out there about players. And I know that's a judging, it's nothing wrong with you doing that. I'm not bashing that. But it's a start. And it's what we call flat numbers. Flat numbers, football can never be judged off flat numbers. And what are flat numbers? Flat numbers are, I give you a stat, or analytics going to give you that stat, and it says, bam, and that's it. And you go just about those numbers. No context, just flat numbers. It's almost impossible to judge flat numbers with the greatest team sport in sports that has this many working parts. So you have to have context with any numbers you put out there. And in football, if I want to present a case for someone, or for someone doing good, or for someone doing bad, I can always find some numbers that'll win my case for me. I could always find the numbers for the best quarterback out there. I could always find some numbers and put them together to make him look mediocre or bad. Yeah. I could always put some numbers together to make a bad player in some type of numbers and combination to make them look much better. So it goes back to what people say. We got to get a fan base this cares about winning. The great Al Davis. My dad was a big-time Raider fan. Miss my dad. He was a big-time Raider fan. And he loved Al Davis. But he said, Al Davis, he always said, man, just win, baby. And Al Davis was famous for that. Just win. Now, when he believed in that philosophy, when he had guys like the great John Madden. John Madden wanted just to win. And he treated every game as a different game. Players knew that every game was different. You can't win last game with this game. I mean, you can't win tomorrow's game based on what you did last game. I'm going to say that again. You can't win the next game based on what you did in the previous game. You can't lose the next game based off how you played the last game. You can't make the playoffs based off how you finished the previous year. You can't win a Super Bowl if you won the Super Bowl based off how you won the Super Bowl the previous year. Every year, every play, every game is a different game. It's a different scenario. What's real? Real is every time we go out there is a different game. I've had fans say, I've got some fans say this is let's don't play Bland or let's don't play this player because this is a glorified JV game. And that's the mentality. And I understand we say we just fans, we shouldn't have no effect. But you know something? I said this on our live stream when we were talking about our watch party. And this is no disrespect to our fan base, but our fan base need a cultural change. Because I know a good friend of mine, and I know some Green Bay fans. Go on some of these Green Bay websites. They have YouTubers too. One thing about Green Bay, they get excited about every game and they take every game serious. That don't mean they're going to win every game, but they don't look over nobody. And Green Bay fans are not what we call cancel culture fans. Yeah, they'll go if you their guy, they with you through thick and thin. Yeah. The quarterback have a bad game, they say, hey man, you got to be better. They consider this a bad game. They don't consider him being the garbage. What's real and what's not real? This culture of thinking everything's got to be perfect, that's not real. So, yes, we have to have a culture change. In the NFL, any given Sunday teams can get beat. We're on the road in Chicago. Same thing I said last week. We haven't earned the right to say anybody is a JB team. And that's not because we want to, because first people say, oh, because we ain't won no Super Bowl that season. We got our goals set on Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl or bust. But our goals really should be getting better every week and getting the task done each week. Because like I said, nothing you do tomorrow or Sunday is going to make you a Super Bowl champion. But what we need to prescribe with is let's go 1-0 on Sunday. Let's keep stacking victories. And then let's find out how it ends at the end. But let's make every game a Super Bowl. And if our players can get it, but the reason why our players get it because when you're surrounded by a crazy culture, it's hard not to be there. And I get in that way. I get into that point of sometimes I'm starting to get into get in this soap opera stat or gossip. And I hate that when I do I have to kiss myself. Yeah. The Cowboy fans, you're right, Ken. If you listen here, majority of our Cowboy fans, and I hate to say this, if there came in the last 30 years, and I'm not dissing that Cowboy, but if you came in the last 30 years, you very rarely seen what the grit that we had to do to win championships and the DNA, because the same way we were structured the same way in the 70s and the same way in the 90s. And that's why I keep telling people, talking about, oh, it's a different era. 20 years later, from 70s to 90s was a big difference. Things, much as people want to say, oh man, 1970 and 1990 was the exact same. No, it wasn't. But the same structure and the same grit, physicality, dominance, and we were always in the media. Cowboys players started talk shows. Yeah. But we had a grit and grind to it. We was Hollywood, but we had a grit and grind to us. So we have to earn the right to say that we're better than any team. Well, we can't. What's real and what's not real? Is our team going to be able to go on the road? What's the rules on the road? The rules are the same. The rules don't change because we're playing the Chicago Bears. It's the same rules. You still got to go on the road and gangster you a victory. You still got to go on the road, play solid defense, win special teams, control the running game, win the running game, be the better team running the football. Don't make any turnovers. Be having a gangster mentality that you're going to be mentally tough in a sea of other plans. Control explosive plays. The same rules apply. Because if you don't go in there and gangster a thing on the road when you're and we're the underdog, you go in there trotting in there thinking that you are better and this is a layup for you, you're gonna get beat. We are 0-1 on the road. We want to go 800 at home, 800 winning percentage, and 60 to 65% on the road. That way we're going to be guaranteed some in the playoffs. We're 100% on the road at home, which we shouldn't have won, but we did win. We got a tie road record. We got to get it back to 500. And the only way you're going to get it is you got to go in there and gangster your victory. What's real and not real? We talked about how we look at players with these PFS stats and what's real about them and what's not real. And then we're going to talk about what I said about this. We have to trust our coaching staff. And I know I have disagree with coaches, but I have to understand and say, hey, man, do I really think this coach wants somebody to go out there? It got to have some reason but why he sent a guy there or a guy's not playing. Guys don't want to lose their job. Listen, There's nowhere in the world that a coach can say, I'm going to do something, and he knows if it doesn't work, he's going to get the blame, he's going to get fired. Sometimes we put trust in guys that we think that we seen them do in practice, and we hang on with them too long because we think it's going to script the switch and they're going to turn on to what we think they are. And that coaches do make mistakes like that. I have made mistakes like that. But we have to 3 games in, we got to trust the coaches that. We got to trust that they're trying to build something here. And sometimes, and I'm saying this, and some people gonna give it, sometimes it got to look rough for you to get the procedures together in the right way. Because the right way, the right way is going to have sustained success. So it's going to be tough. Now, am I concerned about some of the things I see? Yeah. As I said in the last video, my concern is, are we building winning habits? That may not count as wins right now, but are we building winning habits and not creating, or are we getting what we call losing habits? Because you get into losing habits, and what you do is you become a team that finds a way to lose, but not find ways to win. I wouldn't count the Giants game as a way that we found a win. No. I would equate the Giants game as the Giants finding a way to lose. You'll know if we do stuff to find a way to win. So the other issue I want to talk about is the running back. What's real and what's not real? Everything's got that same theme. What's real and what's not real? PFF stats, running stats, all points as our running back having a very good year at so far for 2 games. Now, how we give a judge of a guy in 2 games, I always say, I judge guys in quarters. Let me say that again. I judge guys in quarters. So one time we had 16 games. So it used to be 4, 4, 4. Now we got 17 games. So I judge the first 5 games, and then we'll go to the second half. Well, the first 5 games. First 5 games is going to be the getting used to it, to getting yourself revved up. And we want to see a progressionally getting good. And if I can get consistent play from you for 5 games, I kind of feel I'm going to get that same consistent play the rest of the year. Because you have built, what I always say, 5 weeks, you have built a habit of playing well. Then when you're not playing well, you will understand, you will feel it, and you will adjust. You may have a bad game here, but you will get back to it because you have built that habit. It's like when you go work out. Everybody, people work out. Y'all go work out every day, and then you miss a day. Guess what? You know that you missed a day. It's all over your face. Your body even tell you, say, you missed a day of workout. But it takes a time to build those good habits. So when we talk about the running back, yeah, the PFS stat says good. Now, what does the eye test tell you? Because you got stats, you got opportunity, you got stats, you got the eye test. What does that tell you about him? Some would say the eye test says good. Now, from an experience as I have, I think he's been doing a great job. But based on what I'm seeing from our blocking, it probably could be a whole lot better. But I don't know yet because I can't really give a judge in 2 games. There's 3 more games that I need to see this running game and this guy, and then I can give you a full assessment. Now, do that means I'm saying, no, let's don't go out and get another running back? No, I'm not saying that. But I do know we need a guy that's a big guy, not a Turpin. We already finding out. Putting Turpin in the backfield, he's a buck and a half. He ain't even a buck and a half. He's a buck and not even a buck and a quarter. He's a buck and a dime. We cannot put him back there and say, you are our burst back. You're going to be our guy that's going to be our change of pace and our home run hitter. That's not. He's not even going to hold up. His body is not going to hold up. So we do need a guy that's a change of pace, that probably there's a great runner but can't be that home run. Miles Sanders is not a home run. He already showed you that. Best he can give you is a single. Williams is not a home run. He might be a double guy. Don't take that run for 30 yards and saying he's a home run. He may be a single double guy. Maybe a double guy. We may get you 12, 13, 14 yards. He may have somebody. He's not no home run. We need a guy, and not a small guy, but we need a guy that still got some size that can be a home run. Not a guy that you got to run on gadgets, but can give you that home run hit. Now, may not be no 20, 30 carry guy, but I don't think our offense is looking for a 20 or 30 carry guy. We got 19 carries out of one day because we ran a lot of plays. But I don't think we really looking for that. I think we should get 30 carries out of our running backs. Now, yes, we wait on Blue, but listen, there's a lesson that's being taught to Blue. And I think it's a lesson about growing up and holding your responsibility of knowing what you're supposed to do on the field, study, as well as being committed to your craft. And I don't have no problem with that, because if he understands it, it could be the best thing for him. Now, if he bucks against it, it could snowball into something. And I think they want to get him totally healthy too. I think it's a little bit that too. Mafia is not a home run hitter. Why is Honey Lukley not carrying the football sometimes? You paid him. And you gave him some money. And I'm not one of the ones, but in his case, I'm going to say it, because they'll say about other players, if y'all know what I'm saying. Honey Lukley, you can't miss blocks. You got $2 million. It's unacceptable for what your salary say for you to miss blocks. Now, if you're I can't, you cannot do that. I need you to be able to get those blocks and get those intangibles out and be able to do those type of things. Hunter Lukley. So, yes, we do need a home run hitter. And if it is a guy there that we can trade for, I would love to trade for a guy that would be a guy that we can get out there that could be a maybe a home run hitter that could change the pace. And God Almighty, I don't know what happened to me. All right. They're still saying I'm still. I'm sorry. It's showing me. It's showing my screen saying that I'm not connected. So that's why I paused a little bit because I thought I had lost y'all, but it's still saying I'm connected. It's buffering, but y'all stick with me. It's still saying I'm connected. It's doing a lot of spinning now, but hopefully we can get through that part and get back to a full connection here right quick and keep on with this show. But yeah, why is Honey Lukey not running the ball? And yes, Honey Lukey's got to be more solid in his blocking. If you're a guy that's doing if you're a guy that's supposed to be on this field, on this team, and your job is to be a blocker and a utility guy. I need color from that. I can't have whiffs from you. I can't have you making mistakes. I can't have you going in the wrong spot. I can't have you misstepping, because that's your job to do the dirty work. And I cannot have you making the missteps and doing the dirty work, because when you do that, it throws everything off. This is your job, and there needs to be pressure on him to do his job. See, sometimes I think we look at certain people, but this is where Coach Schottenheimer has to get better at. And I say this because, and I know he may be doing it behind closed doors, but he has to get better with that. He has to get better with telling his players, the ones that say, "Hey, man, let's talk about Honey Lukey. Yeah, let's talk about it. Honey Lukey got to get better at what he does, and he can't miss. He can't miss blocks. Honey Lukey can't miss a chance to make a block. He can't miss that. He's got to be on point when it comes to making blocks. And I'm not riding Honey Lukey. Now, again, I'm not on top of it, but I did see him miss some blocks. And I'm saying this in a general space about the little things that we have to get on our players about. And maybe sometimes we have to do that through the media, because we have to make little things mean something to them. And when you say these things, Schottenheimer, when you point these little things out that may have caused you a problem, what that does is it builds our culture as a fan base to start watching little things. Because whatever you tell people, they're going to go watch. And if you can get your fan base to start hopping on the little things, what that's going to do is always help your team get better. See, when they talk about a big play, we talk about, you tell us about the little incidental things that cause that big play not to work. And it might be something small and minute, but you talked about that. Don't be worried about if you're embarrassing players. Just make sure that your players know two things, coaches. Don't worry about embarrassing players, but just make sure your players know two things about you. And it goes back to my other shows that I've been saying before. What's the most important thing when you're coaching a player is not like and love. The most important thing is they trust you, trust that you're going to say the truth, and they respect you. Like and love will come later on. They have to trust you that you're going to say the truth, like it or not. They might not like, but as long as they throw the truth, people know what the truth is. They can get mad, but they still know what the truth is. And they got to respect you to know that they just can't do anything and say anything to get by with you. That don't mean that you got to be an a-hole all the time. But you do have to be an a-hole sometimes, because you can get too much into this like and love, and then they start disrespecting you. Make sure that they trust you and respect you. That's for Dak too. He ain't got to like you, but he trusts that you're going to get him in the best spot, and he respects you. He might not like you everything you say, but as long as you're truthful and you're a straight shooter. So sometimes, Shad, you got to come out on something. We need to know the little things that you don't like about your players. We need to know those things. And it's not everything. Just give us a snippet, because what you're doing is now you're coaching through the media. Everybody know the big things, but sometimes we don't know the little things that cause us to have a problem. It's just like when I said about that NASCAR guy. Some people just say, okay, man, we know that the engine might have blew and they lost the race. But nobody knows that the tire man, when they came in to do the tire change, the tire man is late getting from behind the wall. He's late on his placement of the jack. Those little things cost us minutes, cost us seconds, that put us behind the 8 ball, and they lost races. It wasn't the big things. It's the small things. Because remember, it's the sum of the parts. So if Schottenheimer, if you're trying to get a true culture, sometimes you got to lead. Sometimes you got to tell us some of them tidbits, because that's going to get the focus on your team to be detail-oriented. So you can tell your players behind the wall. I keep saying it, behind the closed doors in meetings, and they listen to you and don't listen to you. But they hear the media talk about something big, and they say, "Oh yeah, I know I didn't make that block, or I know I wasn't in the right spot, and that cost the player." And yeah. But if you go out and say, "Hey, the backside on our kickoff return, we got something set up perfectly, but the people on the backside didn't make no blocks." Guess what? We as the content creator gonna say, "Wait, man, run that kickoff back that Coach Schottenheimer said that they ain't blocked on that backside. Who was over there?" Now everybody's on blast. Everybody's on spotlight. So if I got one disagreement with Schottenheimer, I'm gonna tell him that you got to let us know the little things. And you got to let us know the little things what's causing the problem. If you want Blue to get himself together, just go ahead and say it. He ain't in the playbook. And I'm not saying that these things because I don't know, but I'm just making an example. He's not picking up the playbook right. Stuff that he's supposed to know, he still don't get right in practice. Small things. We're not playing because the small things will end up causing big things because you can't do the small things. And Miles Sanders is doing all the small things. He may not give us the biggest production, but he got the small things down. Let's go ahead and say it. This is how you get your point across, Shotty. This is how you get your point across. You get your point across by pointing out the small things, and you put everybody on blast. That's called coaching through the media. And sometimes coaching through the media on the small things is perfect. Because sometimes these gentlemen don't think the small things matter. And they don't think nobody's looking at it so they can get away without doing them. But you, coach, you can tell them, say, we didn't get that done because if we get that done, this will happen. We'll be able to get time to do that. We'll be able to do this. If this guy ran a particular route, we'll be able. A backside route running on that play was not correct, not precise enough to help open up the other play. Let's hear. Tell us. Because what we're going to do as content creators, we're going to go right back to that play. And he said, the clear out route wasn't good enough. And we're going to look at it. And if it's not, then what I want our fans to start to do, instead of getting in a cancel culture, let's start getting into, hey, you got to play better, man. You got to do better than that. Because in the actual fact, the 70 guys or 80 guys we're going to have on the team, we got them. We may get a trade, but who we got to get them to play up to par. What's real and not real? Shot, you have to tell sometimes what's real and what's not real on the small things. And so when I look at running back, we can upgrade. I'm not saying we're gonna throw Williams on the trash heap. And I think Williams is gonna get better, but like I said, I can't give him a full grade until after what? 5 games. 2 games, no. Because now with him getting these people publicizing his stats, people now are going to start paying a little bit more attention. Now, not only we're going to be scouting, they're going to scout him. They're going to understand where he likes to lead run at. They're going to understand where he likes to cut back. They're going to watch film and see how his eyes are. They're going to scout him. So how do he adjust? Does he get better? And what I'm trying to figure out, as he gets more reps, is he's going to get better? Because you got to understand, he was out a year and he only played something last year. So is he going to get better and better as the reps go? Because he could. But when Lou and all them say about getting a quality, now the number one back like Jonathan Taylor and some of the names, but I understand what y'all saying, but that ain't gonna happen. Teams ain't gonna help us give us a championship. So, but we can upgrade. There may be a thing out there to upgrade, and maybe, but just don't get the close the narrative and act like we don't need somebody to be there. Because again, but when I say but, the stuff that comes out of the but is the truth. We still need to give it 3 games to have a 5-game analysis. Let's do the first quarter. That's the first quarter now. 5 games is the first quarter. Then you got 4 and 4 and 4. But let's do the first 5 games to see where we at, and then we'll do a real assessment judgment of how this thing's going. And hopefully our offensive line gets more in tune, and working. Because as it goes along, the running game is supposed to pick up steam. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about, because these I'm start getting still got connection. Hopefully, if you're out there in the chat, I can't see who's in the chat because I got this thing is spinning in front of me. If you're in the chat, if you're still live with me, in the chat, one, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. If you want to support the channel and you like what we are giving, my Cash App is right there in the bottom hand corner. Let me put it up there on the screen for you, so you can see if you want to support the channel. Man, anything. I've had some people, man, to come in and support the channel, and I thank y'all greatly. People who, if you're in the chat and you have supported this channel with Cash App, thank you so much. We are very close to when I'll be able to get you you can support the channel with super chats. We are close. We viewing hours, and with subscribers, but we have to try. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers before I want to get to 1,000 subscribers before I get to Dallas for the Sunday night game against Green Bay. I want to get to being 1,000 subscribers. I'm 443, 450, 30 some subscribers off from getting to that. Let's try to share this and get to that subscriber. You coming in, you seeing this? Please put anything to let me know that you still in the chat or you still there. Please put a comment in the chat and see if that's coming through. I just need to know if you can put a comment in the chat so I can still know that I'm connected to you out there live. It's saying I'm looking at on my TV that says that I'm out there live, but put a thing in the chat, a thumbs up in the chat and say, hey, Coach, we still in there with you. Again, we talked about running back. I wanted to touch bases on one other thing other than running back. And the other thing I wanted to touch bases on is wanted to touch bases on if you're out there in the chat, man, please. Okay, thank you, sir. Good, Jonathan. Thank you for coming in and hanging with me. Good. But the last thing I wanted to touch bases on, we had talked about what's real and what's not real. We talked about PFF. We making sure we judge what's real and what's not real. We talked about, yes, we need that 5 games to really judge this running back. But yes, a home run hitter would be very good. And it's going to take whoever comes in here. Let's think about it. If you bring a guy in here, he's going to have to take some time to get used to our running scheme and get up the real. So it's not going to, you're going to bring a guy in here and he's just going to snap right on in. So again, these next 3 games is going to be very important to see if Mr. Williams keeps making pace and this offensive line keeps making pace. Hey there, Don, how you doing? So I've been getting a lot of flack from a friend of mine because he said, man, coach, he said, coach, you've been going after Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson, man. And my friend of mine told me, said, hey, he said, man, coach, I ain't never seen you go after players like that, man. That's vicious, man. You know, these guys putting in effort. Yeah, they are. And listen, this is a challenge to Malik Hooker, a challenge to Donovan Wilson. I said 2 years ago, and we can go back and look at some comments when I said Donovan Wilson and Donovan Wilson was very important because when he made plays, we won games. And Donovan Wilson was a playmaker. And a lot of people try to shoot it, and I say he can make plays. And I still believe Donovan Wilson can make plays. But I need him being the attitude of making plays and not just hanging on. Yeah. Yeah, I heard some people say if Miami loses the next game, they're going to have some people out there for sale. Yeah, they're probably. But let me be honest about when people out there say, I'm going to say this about Donovan Wilson, and I'm going to come back and we're going to answer some of y'all questions. Let me put this up right quick. But let me, hey, Ricky, I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to say this right quick about the safeties, and I'm going to come back and start answering some of these questions y'all have. And we're going to talk about some of the questions. But let me say this, man. Donovan Wilson can make plays. Malik Hooker can make some plays. But I will say this. This defense is built for them to make plays. And I need them to have a leadership of quality and to take on their backs how well the secondary plays. And from this game going on, if they're still out there, I don't want to see no breakdowns in coverage or any confusion back there in the back end. They're veterans. They're not as athletic enough. Maybe their body's breaking down. I talked about 3 areas that I have not seen in this safety group. And I can debate anybody on that. And I know people going to say, well, we watch film, but these are tangibles, and we can say film will show you that too. I at least need one safety that just ain't out there just to get by and say, okay, I'm doing okay to get by. Preferably 2. I understand that the Chargers are different. Their safety is different from ours because they got an all-world safety. But when I hear the Chargers safety, when I hear Chip Kelly talks about the Chargers safety, and I get in there, everybody know his name, and he talks about, I don't even know what position he plays, but I know he's involved in everything. That means this guy's a playmaker. This guy's on the back end, and he is a dominant player. I watched Charles Woodson, and I know Charles Woodson is not, Donovan Wilson is not going to be a Charles Woodson or whatever. But I watched Charles Woodson come to Green Bay and leave cornerback and play safety and take that defense to another level, just like Reggie White took the defense. And became player of the year. People forget when they won the Super Bowl, he was the player of the year. And was dominant at safety. Because he was a leader. He kept people focused. He kept them in the right spot. And he was roaming to make plays. And I feel like I got two safeties just trying to get by. And I hate to use that analogy, and I use that analogy, but I'm going to say it, and I don't mean no harm about it. Just trying to get by so they can stay in Dallas. They're not getting paid big money. Malik Hooker took a deal that no starting safety in this league take. $4 million. That was a deal to say that I like Dallas. Not the Dallas Cowboys. I like living in Dallas and what Dallas brings. And I don't need that comfortability. I don't need that comfort. And I don't know if Wande Thomas and Bell got it in them either. Because you've been here 4 years and you ain't made knocking on that door yet, you might be just who you are. Now, can Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson turn it up a notch? Probably so. But the leadership quality got to get better. I don't want to see a team come out, because I didn't hear that. I heard that a lot a couple years ago, talking about the run game. Well, we ain't got Fitz. Now here I hear the same stuff about coverage. And how many times we heard that over the years? That's an indictment on your safeties. I don't care if they went in their spot. If the guys ain't within the spot, that's on them. And this is another thing. And I keep saying this, and this is not the real, but I just want you to appeal to y'all common sense. And I'm not talking bad to y'all or nothing. I'm not saying it. But this appeal to football common sense here. Look at this, listen to this scenario. And tell me if I'm wrong about what should have happened. Even though it didn't work. I'm 2 veteran safeties. I got a veteran corner that's one of our best corners. I got a slot corner of a guy that we just got from another team that's in his first start in the NFL. I got another corner on the other side who's a former first-round draft pick that had some playing time. If we're running a zone coverage, you think my eyes, if I'm a safety, I don't care what coverage we in, you think I hadn't told Diggs and Elam that I'm shading to help this rookie guy in case he can't do his job? And I'm putting pressure on you, Diggs and Elam, to know you ain't got as much help. But I'm going to let the rookie guy get beat. And I'm over there, and I'm 2 steps over there helping Diggs. What the hell? That's leadership. I ain't going to go back to the sideline and say, well, let the rookie guy hang out and drive. Well, he a rookie. Come on, man, you do. That's my job to help him. And if I don't help Diggs and Diggs get burned, I'm going to tell Diggs, man, hey, you're the man. I can't help you as much, so you got to prepare yourself. We got to be better at what plays are we making? Oh, you say you got an interception. Man, Anybody could have made that interception, man. When you see them cut in front of a play and make an interception, when you see them jump a play and make an interception, when you see them break up a pass down the field and the ball went up in the air and they made the interception, when you see them make a tackle in the backfield, so again, I'm challenging them to be playmakers because this defense need playmakers from that position. So the leadership is one. That was my first problem. The second problem, they can't fix the second problem, but they have to fix it with intangibles. They ain't gonna get no damn faster. That boat done sailed, baby. You ain't gonna get there. I'm not gonna get to be no faster. And then they're slow, and then they've got a leg injury like Malik Hook had a hamstring, a little tightness last week. So if they already slow and then they get in, they're going to be even slower. They cannot do that. So what you have to do with, if you're lacking this weapon, you have to be more intangible and more aggressive and smarter to be able to get to where you want to do to make plays. But if the aggression ain't in you, you ain't going to do that. They're not going to get faster. What does this defense need more? We need more speed on the back end. Diggs is fag, but he ain't no blazer. I need more speed on the back end. And sometimes I might substitute a little intangible for more aggression and speed. Well, some people say, well, that's what Wanyeki brings you because he 4'3" and he's aggressive and he fights. Well, you know, sometimes I can calm you down and teach you some intangibles, but I can't, ain't nothing I can do about the natural born athletic ability. I can't coach that up. It's already there. It's either there or it's not. Ain't run on no boards gonna do nothing about that now. Ain't no wind suit gonna do nothing about that. Ain't no drills you gonna be able to do that. Either you got the athletic ability or you don't. But I can put pressure for a guy to have intangibles. Okay, have me one guy with a tangible and have one guy with some athletic ability. But I need me some more speed on the back end, and I need more playmaking. Now, y'all can say I'm wrong with that, or y'all can say I'm throwing people off the boat. But I'm just saying the two things that I just point out is the gospel. There, when I see defensive backs have a problem with coverages all game, and that this ain't just happened this game. I always tell you, Coach ain't just saying this about one game. We have had this problem on a multiple occasions. I feel I ain't got no leadership from the back end. They're not going to get no faster. They're not going to be able to erase sometimes mistakes that a defensive back make. Sometimes a safety erases a mistake because he got intangibles and he can get there. Don't believe in these defenses and all these other defenses that the corner don't make a mistake and he don't get it helped out. Man, that's what football, that's why I say it's the greatest team sport in the history. There's guys that make a problem and they save him. A quarterback, he made over the ball might be too high, but the receiver go up there and get the ball. The receiver might not be open, but the quarterback throw the ball so well that he throws him open. The quarterback might be getting sacked, but he steps to the right and gives his lineman a chance to get this to push him by. Working together. Sometimes you have to save your teammates by making plays to save them. Ain't nobody care as long as we work together. Because sometimes I'm going to save you, sometimes you're going to save me. And we go on the sideline and say, man, thank you, man. Good looking out. Yeah, that happens. I'm looking for safeties to make plays. And that's if I could start young slot corners, because I feel if I got some veteran safeties, I'm going to be all right. I can't go out there with veteran safeties and we let the slot corner, who's a rookie, get this murderized and we can let it happen. What are y'all saying? What are y'all telling him to be on point about? What are y'all doing for him? And you can say, Coach, they may have been saying you couldn't see that. Well, let's hear it. Either they're not saying it or this team doesn't respect their voice enough to get their ass straightened out on the back end. They don't respect the safeties out there voice enough. So that's the two things, leadership, and they ain't going to get no more athletic. The third thing is, if you ain't athletic, you ain't got no, and I'm saying with the leadership, but you need to be knocking you need to be knocking people's heads off back there. I don't need no safety playing pity pat. Okay, you ain't fast, but when you get there, somebody should know you've been there. It ain't good enough for y'all. So I'm just getting the guy on the ground. I'm watching the dude. Anybody watch the play when Scalabrew ran the ball for 24 yards? Jonathan Wilson tried to jump on the man at the 10-yard line on top of him, and he just shook him off. But Lee Cook was still backing up into the end zone. He could, when you got another guy attacking and trying to attack him, that's the opportune time for the other guy to attack the ball and attack the person and give a hit. You might can knock the ball out. No, he doing. He back in the end zone. I'm not saying he's scared. I'm calling spade a spade. We could say that it wasn't the deal with that. The intangibles are on the field, man. And I'm telling you, believe me on this, people. If we get more quality play with our safeties, it'll help this defense out greatly. I'm saying when I talk about slow, I point out in the text in the email thing I point out. I point out another thing. We diagnose and run too slow. I told you in this defense, the back end got to see it and go. Once they rerun, their job is to attack the run. Not read it, see it, and pause. And then trot up. And then let receivers get in their way. Or stand 10 yards off the ball. You started 15 yards on the ball. You see a run and you still 10 yards on the ball. The small things, man. And that's what I said about Shotty. You got to start pointing out the small things. And your coaches see the small things. I see them. Because my eyes been trained to watch small things. Because I've been trained for a long time to understand small things win games. Small stuff turns into big mountains when you put a bunch of small BS together. So when Shotty talking about we did some crazy SHIT stuff out there, he talking about we did a lot of crazy small stuff that builds into a mountain of shit. And small things is going to win a 6. Because they're going to build good habits. I watched the receivers in the game not get blocks, and a guy could have got it. Same thing I'm seeing again. And this is need to be pointed out in the press conference. Somebody need to say, man, we could have had another run from Williams if we got down there and made that block on the receiver got down and made that block. He ain't got to call out a name. He just say receiver. Guess what? We're going to find out who that is. And these coaches, listen, man, these players listen to that press conference. And they understand who's getting called out because they can't, listen, when you say it, a spade is a spade. They can't get mad off the truth. They can get their butt together and not let that happen again. So, Shadi, you got to point out the small stuff. Because the small stuff, and listen, we want to talk about I'm killing the safety. Hey, man, I'll debate anybody on this. Tell me when they make plays. Show me when they done broke up a play and made a great interception. Show me when they have made a dominant play in the run game. Show me when they have been when the secondary is your level of physicality is built on how your safety physicality is. Show me that they're doing those things. Show me that they're doing great leadership in the back end. Show me that they're covering and making these young players better. You ain't got to show me this they fast because I know they ain't fast. I can see that they ain't physical. Donovan Wilson used to be a hitter, but his body's breaking down. Now every time he practices, next thing you know, hurt. You know, like I said, sometimes you have to go with youth with playmaking ability and maybe a little wilder. But it'll pay dividends later on. All right. Yeah. Somebody said, yeah, they need to know. No, I don't think Donovan Wilson missed it. I don't think Donovan Wilson is stealing money, but I think Donovan Wilson, the injuries that added up, and I think he's just trying to stay healthy because he does have a tendency to get hurt. And I know Malik Hooker has him. Malik has not had year-end injury, but he still got some things with his legs. A-Chain. This is a good thing by Ricky. If Miami loses the next game, A-Chain, would I go after A-Chain? Yeah, if he's free and a third or fourth round pick, maybe, or a little later than that, I'm not giving them no 1 or 2. Hell no. And see, this is the thing about when teams start the fire sale. Yeah, they'll do fire sale with other people, but you got to understand who we are. People they're gonna charge us, they're gonna tax us, man, because we so out there. And anytime we get somebody, people gonna think that's the greatest player since sliced bread. They're gonna think he can come in to be the savior, whoever we trade for. So they're gonna try to hit us across the head. But like I said, let's do these first 5 games. Let's see if we can get Blue out there, and let's see what Blue can do. And yes, we need to go out there and try. But we do need to try. Like we don't need to try. And all my content creators out there talking about getting a running back, and we was out there ripping them piece, man. Listen, they're telling you the eye test. The eye test said that we can be better at it. But like I said, the eye test has to give me 5 weeks. And in that 5 weeks, I'm going to see our offensive line gets better at cleaning the run. I'm going to see if Williams gets even better and better as it's going, because he was a home run hitter when he was in college. Now, I don't know if that knee injury has slowed him down, but as he gets more and more, he might get. But that's, like I said, to get where he's going to go, we don't know if he's going to wear down. We still need that person to come in there. So I don't know if that guy's out there, but I'm quite sure nobody's going to give us one of their top running backs. No. Or they're going to tax us. They're going to ask for both of the first-round draft picks. And there ain't no running back out there worth no 2 first-round draft picks. And really no running back out there right now I would trade nobody no first-round draft pick for. And we could talk about the first-round draft pick going to be late in the draft because it's Green Bay. Listen, man, CeeDee Lamb was in the 20s. You can hit good running things in late in the first round, right? So, and you always can use those first-round draft picks to move up. So if you need to get somebody who's going to be quality. So, but like I said, we're going to give it 5 weeks. 5 weeks is what I want to give it. But like I said, man, I'm going to get on here so I can watch this Miami and game, and I'm trying to tune in on ESPN Plus to see if I can tune in to the Benedict College and Tuskegee game, so I can watch a little bit. That's being played right here in my hometown, Columbia, South Carolina. But like I said, man, thank y'all so much for being in this live stream with me. I know y'all might be going into other people's lives because a lot of other people probably started their thing. But thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like I got around here in the bottom right hand corner. Like, subscribe, and enjoy. And that's what I'm saying. I hope you enjoyed and learned some things. But like we said, what's real and what's not real. And let's take an incident there. This if you came in late when I post this, go ahead and rewatch the first half of this. Share this with the people on content on everybody else, and tell the story about what you say you learned some stuff with Coach Marv. And Coach Marv is going to always do it. The real talk, Coach Marv. We're going to always talk about real scenarios. Also, if you want to support the channel, we want to try to support the channel and support a great trip that I'm trying to get to. I'll give you some content in Dallas, my first time. You know, if y'all can help Coach Marv get to that trip in Dallas, man, I would greatly appreciate anything you said. You don't know, man, I've been a Cowboy fan all my life. And I have always dreamed about, first I dreamed about going to Texas Stadium for the longest to see where they had to open in the roof. I have watched the Cowboys play in Charlotte and in Jacksonville and in Carolina several times, but I have never got a chance to go to the Dallas and watch my team in a home game. And I'm, you know, if God is willing, I'm already got the ticket, and me and my friends got the plane ticket, and we're going to Dallas for the Green Bay game. They didn't pick the Green Bay game. We picked the Green Bay game because one of my friends I'm going with, we've been friends since kindergarten, and he's a Green Bay fan. And we're going in, and we picked this game. We said it was on the schedule, and we said we was going. Now look at that game with Michael Parsons. So anything that, you know, if you want to support the channel, and if you want to support the channel for the uplifting channel, so I can have some equipment and go and make sure I go and have a quality time with Law. Hopefully Law, them, and Boss and Lou, they're going to do some type of things in the sports bar like they did a pregame thing. That I need to get in contact with them so we can probably try to do I could be on their show in Dallas. Anything you can get, 1, 2, 10, 5, 20. If you want to do say, hey, Coach, I'm going to give you so you can really get you some good drinks. Hey, my Cash App is right there, man. Everything's going towards the uplift for the channel and for me getting great content. But this is one of the things that I have been on one of my bucket lists that I always say. And hopefully this is the start of me going to some more games, because I'm going to this game in Green Bay, and the next weekend they're coming down. The Cowboys coming down to Charlotte. And I'm not planning on going to that game, but I'm planning on going to Dallas on the 27th. So that's in a couple of weeks. So anything you would like to send on the Cash App, hopefully we'll have that enough things so we'll be monetized when probably we get back, that we'll have that monetization where you can support the channel then by sending super chats when I'm in my lives and those things. That would be great. But right now I don't have that. I'm very close to having that. We hopefully try to get 1,000 subscribers before the end of this month. Hopefully we will. We're about 400 some off of, but I know your help and your sharing and y'all talking about it is always going to make that boost. But like I said again, if you want to support the channel, the Cash App is right there in the bottom. Thank you for all the people who have sent me Cash Apps and support. Thank you for all the messages I've gotten when people watch my videos, my shorts. Please look at my catalog, go back through those things and see some of the things that we talked about, because those things are what are true. And like I said, as always, the new slogan when I say, and when the season starts, Cowboy fans, but particularly Cowboy players, Cowboy coaches, get your mind on your work. And shot it. Sometimes we gotta publicize the little things that's not happening. If you publicize the little things that players are not doing, you're going to be able to coach through the media, and that's going to clean up some of those little things. Let this team know every little thing, everything's important. So if you push those things, we're going to support you. We're going to look at what you say, and we're going to talk about those little things as well. Makes you realize what's real, not real. We understand PFF, but who's the best judge of if a player doing good? The only person who can give the best grade is the coaches. Malik Hooker, Donovan Wilson, You don't like what I said? This is a challenge. I know y'all have time to make y'all can make plays. I need y'all to come back to y'all dog mentality and make plays and be dog as leaders. It'll show. And if you get that thing, you get that way, and worry about your athletic ability because the inner you will make you be there faster. But as I always say, it's gonna be the little things. It's some of the parts. Cowboy Nation, thank you for being with me. Thank you for the internet holding up, even though they've been saying trying to reconnect the whole time, but we have stayed on live the whole time. I'm watching it on live, and I thank God for that. God is good all the time, and He wonders to be performed. But thank you again. We'll be on again sometime this weekend before the game. I may come on tomorrow, I may come on Saturday before we come on, but we will definitely be on Boss Cowboy Sports on our live watch party. Come in and join us and watch. Come on my channel. If y'all were here, when we're gonna be, my channel's gonna be hooked up too. Come on my channel and we're gonna sit there and we're gonna, hopefully y'all can send some comments and questions in the chat box and I'll try to get them on the air. All right. Until next time. Cowboy Nation, Cowboy players, Cowboy coaches, get your mind on your work. Peace.